KD has a player option at $31.5 million. He can opt in and take that money next season for just sitting on the sidelines, fully recover, and still be in a position to get a max deal for 4 years, whether he stays at Golden State or goes somewhere else thereafter. So KD ain't losing any money in all of this. That's number two. Number three, it's a Warriors kind of game, and I don't mean no pun intended about the Warriors. When Jalen Rose competed, there was a point in time where there wasn't a person that could tell you a damn thing about playing because you wanted to play. So let's take this into a situation. And by the way, I'm not saying I know what decision you would have made. I'm saying I would have supported whatever decision you made, and I assume something along the lines of this. Jalen Rose, member of the Fab Five, it's a national championship game. You're about 80%. You playing? Jalen Rose playing for the Indiana Pacers. You in the finals against Kobe and the Lakers and the crew. You ain't playing at 80%. Chances are the Jalen Rose that I know would have probably played. So all I'm saying is that when we take that into consideration, what's wrong with that? When we talk about the media or anybody else that you're alluding to having their pound of flesh, what's the pound of flesh that we're talking about? Are we talking about great players being less than 100% but going out there and still proving their greatness? I would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting that, with anticipating that, with hoping for that. And if you're Kevin Durant, you know that because before you were a player, you were a fan. And you know what fans would want to see. And part of your greatness is your ability and willingness to give fans what they want to see. When we look at LeBron, when we look at Kobe, when we looked at MJ, when we looked at all the great players throughout NBA history or any kind of sports, it doesn't matter what sport it is, one of the greatest components that they have attached to themselves is that they understand they're the headline, they understand their greatness, they understand what they perceive to be the responsibility that comes along with it, and they embrace it. That's what separates them from everybody else. So when I look at it from that perspective, and I'm thinking about a Kevin Durant at 70%, at 75%, at 80%, still better than 90% of the league in that position, with a championship on the line and his money not really in a position to be compromised, I don't have a problem with it as long as it's him. Now, if he says I can't go, and they said, no, you gotta go, that's an entirely different argument like Max made. But if he said, yo, I'm good enough to make a difference, I want to do this, that's why I said, hell with that, I'm playing him. And I stand by that today, even in the aftermath of his injury.
So Jalen has time to say what he wants to say. Jalen, about your point about the media narrative when we have our pound of flesh, Kawhi didn't care about the narrative. You know, he doesn't care. So the issue to me is not the media created a narrative where Golden State put pressure on KD. It's that KD bought in. You know, he fell for it. And Kawhi didn't fall for the okie doke. Kawhi took care of himself, and as a result, was in a better position to take care of whatever team he was playing on.
So you're saying KD listened to others.
I'm saying later in the show, Max.
Yes,
I'd like to come back to it.
You're saying KD listened to others rather than himself,
and including
Kawhi
the Golden
did the
State
opposite.
Warriors. And Stephen A., to your point, fully recover. Or 70 to 80%, and then he still has time to fully recover. The only player in history who has ever come back in the NBA, fully recovered, so to speak, mostly recovered from an Achilles and still played at an all-star level, is Dominique Wilkins. That's one example out of many. So actually what KD was risking also to me wasn't the money. It was the rest of his career, the rest of his prime. He may never be the same.
So when we talk about whether it's his call or not versus the Golden State Warriors call and then caving to public consumption, there's a word for that. It's called bullying. And what ends up happening is when people see you making a lot of money, they equate that with you not being a normal human being anymore. We just want to be entertained. That's what ends up happening.
I agree with that.
And you just gave two different distinctions that make my point. Kawhi had the strength not to cave into public pressure, and he dealt with it the entire season. There were people assassinating Kawhi's character last year for only playing 9 games. For the Spurs,
killing them.
Okay, a story organization from top to bottom, and they deserve that. When you decide that you don't want to be there and you don't want to listen to their doctors and you don't want to play with them, his character got assassinated all season. Now for KD, you fast forward this situation. If the Warriors were up 3-1, he would not have come back. Say the Warriors were up 3-1 and he didn't come back and they would have won it. What would people say if they won it without KD? See, the Golden State Warriors are better without you. where did I see that narrative happen? Oh, when they was playing against Portland. The offense is better without KD. The team is better without KD. And we know he heard it because he was in the mentions. Right. So we know that he heard it, and subconsciously he was like, we're down.
Listening to that foolishness.
Correct.
He cares about the foolishness that would say a team is better off without him.
Correct.
Foolishness.
Correct. And you're right. Just because you're an athlete and you're going to play when you're hurt, that don't mean that we're smart. That's dumb. Have you ever seen Kevin McHale walk? Okay, I remember watching him in the 80s playing with a foot injury, and people felt like, oh, he's toughing it out for the Celtics. He's a championship-level player. Well, he gave a part of himself to the game, and that's what we are willing to do. I was playing for the Raptors at Golden State, broke my hand, swatting at Cliff Robinson. He had the ball on the left post. I went back to the huddle and told the entire team, my hand is broken. The trainer looked at me and said, what you want to do? I said, I wanted to finish the game. I did finish the game. I even made a couple of shots late in the game. I flew back to Phoenix. I still got a plate and 5 screws in my hand right now. Okay, do I regret it? No. But did I wake up this morning and my hand was sore because it was cold outside? Yeah. And so you want to give all you can when you can. And that's what KD tried to do. Unfortunately, it's not a bone. It's not a ligament. You can't figure if an Achilles is going to pop. If you're 75%.
Is that connected to the calf injury at all? Do you think one has to do with the other?
Absolutely it is.
Starting and stopping. It's not just like a layup or jump shot. You have to start and stop and put tremendous pressure.
So it was because of the calf that the Achilles
Yes, it was a non-contact injury that he could not determine when an Achilles is going to snap. And it happened on him in front of all of us. Now I'm seeing all of these people with these fake crocodile tears, the same ones that act like KD was weak or soft if he didn't play.
Who are these people you talking about?
I'm talking about fans. Okay. I'm talking about media. I'm talking about people within the league that felt like KD was not giving all to himself to the team. I said on Friday that he couldn't go.
All right, I
can say this
as a fan. I didn't get what I want because I wanted to see him with the Knicks out there at the beginning of the season.